Hi, hello, hello. We are reading now chapter 260 of Boku no Hero Academia. The last one had a whole lot of stuff happening. The doctor behind many of this series' most nefarious schemes has been arrested by a gigantic squad of heroes that's going to root out the secret laboratory in his hospital that is presumably making Nomu, is presumably the place that he had warped everyone to during the fight against Gigantomachia. Meanwhile, another group of heroes is raiding a villainous association way out in the woods. They're having a gigantic meeting of all the liberation, or the Paranormal Liberation Front people, as I believe it's called now. And on top of all of that, a lot of our UA students have been posted up in the mountains. They're going to move into the city and evacuate people as quickly as possible. So, three fronts, three incidents. My feeling is that Incident 1 and Incident 2 are going to go very poorly, and that all of those pro heroes are going to be put out of commission, leaving it up to those kids who are fortunately stationed somewhat away to come in and save the day. That seems to be what is being foreshadowed and set up. This chapter is called Life's Work, and I'm thinking it'll probably be focused on the doctor and kind of his backstory, maybe. Because we've seen him in the shadows for quite a long time, a little more explicitly in that Gigantomachia arc. Um, and then the latest chapter dropped like a fairly big bombshell that it turns out he's actually a very well-liked figure of the community, a philanthropist, someone who has established orphanages and hospitals the world over. So I think we're going to learn why there's such a huge contradiction in this person's behavior. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, so he just runs away. So I'm pretty satisfying about this. This part of the plan, I think, could probably go pretty smoothly. Looks like the registry was wrong. So he's described as quirkless in the registry. But they brought Eraserhead anyways, just in case something needed to get erased. And it seems like something is happening as Eraserhead turns his gaze on him. I'm not quite sure what. He aged. He has a quirk that keeps him young. Could it be the same quirk that's kept All for One alive this long? Black Momo specifically are all equipped with hyper regeneration. Similar quirks could always exist, but it's not common by any means. That type we classify as a rare quirk. So quirk replication, artificial quirk, but all for one with that technology. So yeah, I guess this shouldn't be surprising that he has access to pretty much any quirk that they're doling out onto the Nomu. The method by which humans can inherit quirks and not kind of just brainless corpses like Nomu, we don't really understand, but it's not really outside the realm of plausibility given what this character's already done. Neat. Apply that to regenerative medical care. Basically, it's like using cheat code. Whoa. President Mike is like losing it. He's losing it in a way very befitting his character, though, you know? Just the shouting, just the righteous fury coming out of him. But first, the genuine sense of like, whoa, that's so cool. Like, this can revolutionize medicine if we have the ability to give everyone these cheat codes. It's like eternal life for all humanity. Like, he's just in awe of the possibilities. Not that necessarily such a thing ought to be enacted. You know, there's all sorts of problems. No matter what you do when you start tampering with these fundamental forces of life and death. But he wasn't doing any of that. He was just keeping himself alive. Don't be so rough with him. What did the good doctor even do? All the nurses and doctors are, of course, freaking out, completely confused. Why are some of the most famous pro heroes in the world showing up to harass their star doctor, evacuating the entire hospital in case we need to fight any Nomu? And here we can see a bunch of the ectoplasm clones hauling out bed after bed. There's another guy back here that seems to have some telekinesis powers. It's like raising the roof with 2 beds, pretty cool. And then some of the more popular heroes escorting people out personally in princess carries. Look at this guy's face. Look at how happy they are. In awe that they're getting lifted up by their favorite pro hero. It's nice. It's nice. Nice little moment of tenderness between some disturbing revelations and likely some major battles. Best case, we take this place without spilling a drop of blood. Human brains are programmed to obey a designated handler. Without orders, they're just useless lumps. This is our bunny hero. We haven't really seen her in action all too much. We know she's very, very strong, one of the top ranked heroes, probably very popular. Why wouldn't she be? She's awesome. But so far it just seems like she has really absurd physical strength, jumping around and kicking and running and stuff, but nothing that really stands out as like, whoa, this hero is intensely powerful. But I like that. I like the inclusion of the odd character that doesn't really have powers as such. They're just powerful. People you tinkered with and tossed inside are all saying, this is our payback. Have mercy. Eraserhead is pissed off. He knows that this is the person who did all those modifications to Kurogiri that made his dear friend Shirokuma into that abomination that attacked him, that facilitated so many other attacks. So yeah, it's pretty personal for Present Micah as well. But it's not like they were the one that dropped the building on their friend. Or are they? I don't know. I don't know if that's been implied, but it would make sense. And they did have that analogy of like digging through the dumpster behind a 5-star restaurant. Like that to me suggests, you know, they were out there looking for good quirks and then doing whatever they could to secure the corpse. Alright, so the bunny hero, who's presumably got some name besides that, is like way ahead of everyone else. So I doubt this is supposed to be the actual makeup of the task force. That Eraserhead and Present Mike and Endeavor interrogate the doctor and secure him. Sure, that kind of makes sense. A bunch of other people evacuate the hospital. That makes sense. But then just one person runs off totally on her own to fight any number of Nomu that they have lurking back here. I don't know. I feel like we're getting a glimpse into her character. Perhaps a little confident, a little foolhardy? I don't know. That's a lot of Nomu. And these are likely more advanced than most of the Nomu we've seen. Oh, snap! Well, her warning came perhaps a little late, and the doctor here being pierced by this crazy Gurren Lagann Nomu, Mr. Driller. Yeesh. The variety in the designs of the Nomu, I think, is impressive to me. You know, there's always like common elements, the bulging eyes, the exposed brains, that gives them a nice shared aesthetic and kind of a vibe that you get from their personalities or lack thereof. But then to reflect the huge diversity and combination of quirks they have, they're really going all out on all the different other modifications you can have, all the different body sizes and shapes and stuff. There's one that looks like a big whale breaching with disturbingly artificial looking teeth, like it's baleen, is I guess I could say a favorite of mine, but favorite doesn't seem to be the correct word. Organisms replicated by the double quirk aren't nullified by erasure. Good to know. So this is Twice's quirk. Is that right? That Twice has been enlisted to replicate these Nomu? But that's the exact thing that Hawks was so worried about. That was the exact nightmare that Hawks had in his head of just infinite Nomu being churned out by Twice. I really think that's where an ideological war is going to be won, something like that. And the result is going to be not that Twice starts using his powers for good, but that he's just allowed to live peacefully and not asked of him anything. I think that'll be nice. That's my read. But anyways, this is bad. So that doctor is melting. It seems like this is maybe not even the real one himself. But then, wait a minute, I'm confused. His quirk was still deactivated, the getting younger quirk. Or is this just him activating his warping quirk? Warping quirk. But yeah, the Nomu don't lose their quirks. Twice his quirk. Okay, good, I was right. And then, yeah, he's fully glooped back to his lab. How could they know of knowing that? I put my double handle everything. I've been occupied with Tomura Shigaraki, my masterpiece. So wait, his double, which is the one that's melting away here, wasn't his quirk nullified? When Eraserhead looked at him, he started aging? Isn't that exactly what he's saying? Is the opposite here? The organisms replicated by the double quirk aren't nullified by Erasure? I don't know, whatever. Sure, fine. I'm confused, but that's okay. I got the gist of what's going on. I think more than the actual information conveyed, the fact that he's the type of villain that when he's caught, he just makes kind of this scientific observation, such that not only was he never really in any danger, but he's taken this opportunity to learn, and that putting him into this corner was actually like helpful to him, or this corner, so to speak. Anyways, I love the look of his lab, by the way. It's big, like, Evangelion vibes, you know? Like, when she goes into the Magi computers, it looks a lot like that. Damn, those meddlesome hero, he's so freaking Robotnik. I don't know, not just Robotnik, but that whole class of this sort of villain. With the bushy mustache, the bald head, the calling people meddlesome. I still feel like Vegapunk in One Piece is going to fall into this sort of stereotype. Maybe? I don't know. That's just always what I pictured. Do you have any idea how much time and equipment it takes to replicate and cultivate a single quirk? Or how much I've labored to amass this stockpile of quirks? Oh, you know that's getting smashed. To see in this sort of setting, this intricate wall representing so much villainous potential, oh, I'm sure that's getting smashed. But this is really intriguing. This is some of the first glimpses we've had of the actual kind of like scientific side to quirks. And even though it's never really been explained what the scientific side could be, it's been pretty clear from the start that quirks aren't like magical. The quirks are an anomaly of evolution. There's something that's actually happening genetically inside the body that produces all of these insane powers. But that it's ultimately attributable to something physical, something inside the natural realm, and not something completely ethereal and inexplicable. So it's cool, like just seeing these little samples with these little like vein-like structures on them. It's our first real hint at the physical component of quirks. It's intriguing. It's intriguing. But yeah, it's gonna get smashed. It's all crammed in here. My life's work, blood, sweat, and tears, and happy days spent with all for one. All of it. It's getting smashed already! Yo! No, not quite. Not quite, not quite. Something else is getting smashed. Novus are just getting annihilated by her. I thought she would come back and like help fight, you know, the ones that got past her, but no. What a rush. Yo, she's so cool. I love that we're getting this full introduction of like the way they've hyped up this character I think is perfect. We just saw her in the rankings and then nothing. But we just knew she was there. And then when we saw her in the hero assembly or whatever, it wasn't like, this is the top 10 ranked hero bunny girl or whatever. She just goes in. And it's up to us to remember, like, oh, this actually makes sense. She was like crazy powerful, wasn't she? It's super hype. Okay. A tough call to make. Your walk is over, Johnny. I need you to warp Shigaraki and me out of here. Ah, so he's decided to abandon the lab. That's what he was talking about. I got distracted by it because there's a lot of other stuff going on. But he says, I didn't want to abandon the hospital, but now he has to. Before everything gets smashed. I think everything's still gonna get smashed. Even though it would be so helpful for the heroes to be able to study all of this and see what the villains are capable of. I'm gonna get smashed. I love this little guy here. Johnny. Oh, look at Johnny. He's wearing sneakers, just like that other little mini Nomu. But this is the guy that they've loaded up with the warping quirk, I guess. Johnny. Yeah, look at it, it's getting smashed! I knew it! Oh! Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, I love it. Just the feeling of like, we're learning so much. There's like world building happening, some character development. There's this like real kind of psychological intensity of, this is revenge for all those people you mutilated. Going too rough on him, that intensity of like, whoa, whoa, slow down, like we need him alive. But the whole time that's happening, she's just sprinting straight back through the tunnels. And that in the end, what emerged from all that complexity, what emerged from like the scenario building, is just smashed into irrelevance when she knocks through the door. Look, it's getting smashed, just like I hoped. Are you the real one? Oh man, oh this is good. Alright, I'm excited to read the next chapter. I hope it continues. There's so many things I could cut to, but I'm hoping it's just gonna be her smashing everything. It's fantastic. Okay, good stuff. See you next time.